And we are recording Sister Witches Book 7 book club because book 8 is on my brain and so is book 9. Someone else keep me in line here for for Chris and Spencer. In my book a month launch spiel that we do, we just published book 7 and book 8 is coming next and I'm writing book 9. So I always get all my books mixed up, but we're gonna work hard. That's why we joke about it. So the first question on Carrie's list is my favorite question to ask, as always. And what we're gonna do is just use the hand raise function, and then I'll just call on you just to make sure that it's not chaos with people talking over each other. And then if I can see your hand, we'll go to it. But the first question is, what is your favorite part of Sister Witches Book 7 or your least favorite part of Sister Witches Book 7? And does anyone need a review of what happened in Sister Witches Book 7? Or is it fresh? Carrie.
No, I
Carrie,
do.
okay, perfect. Not just me. So in Sister Witches Book 7, Sana meets a guy named Damien, and they are trying to help the forest dragons together as it's famine, right? That was the point, right? There's not like a lot of food. So Sana and Damien are trying to help the dragons find food. Isadora is giving up the act of fostering kids and she's having to move on to kind of like her new normal and she has to figure out what that is. But that new normal becomes very elusive and it seems to be ever shifting. Whenever she seems to land, something else happens to pop up and it doesn't work out. And then Maximilian, oh gosh, what was Max doing? You want to help me out here? Not the East Coast, or yes, Denise, go.
He was trying to not retire.
Thank you. That's right.
And what he was trying to do.
Max is faced with retirement when the high priestess tells him it's time to retire, which is very nice of Marion. And Max is trying to let everyone else know it's not time to retire, and he eventually comes around. This is Max at one of my favorite. And we just had someone else sneak in. Is it Kyla? All right. Oh, go for it. Is it Kyla?
Yeah, sorry.
Welcome. Where are you coming in from?
Springs, Colorado Springs.
I lived in Colorado Springs for a while. I love that place.
Nice.
Well, welcome.
Yeah, I get your newsletters, so I just thought I'd jump in.
I'm so glad you did. Welcome to book club. We were literally just getting started. So we're talking about Sister Witches book 7. Have you read it yet?
No, not on all the way through. I thought I would just kind of hop in and observe if I could.
Sure, of course. Yeah, hang out. You don't have to even say anything. You can just listen, but there will be spoilers. Just some people get surprised.
Okay.
So there are spoilers for book 7, but not beyond book 7. There won't be any other books spoilers. Okay. So now that work is done, who has Terry, I'm gonna you because you're giving me some feedback. There we go. Who wants to talk about their favorite part of Sister Witches book 7 or their least favorite part of Sister Witches book 7?
I gotta remember what I highlighted.
Terry, go ahead.
I have to say it's the snails.
The snails. So in the Western Network, they find the snails to eat, and Ludius has to cook the snails and eat them.
Oh, that's right.
I mean, there's something so simple about dragons eating snails, right? When they're so hungry. I don't carry it like that. Anyone else? Go ahead, Denise.
Forgot about the snail.
The snail part reminded me, I have a little dog, little Chihuahua mix, and she likes to go out hunting in the spring and she will find snails and she will eat them. And she comes in all gooey. She doesn't bring them in, she let us cook them. So she just comes in all gooey. So yeah, it's bad.
So you basically have a dragon. That's what you're saying.
Baby dragon.
Your dog is a baby dragon. That's awesome. Anyone else have a favorite or least favorite part? Go ahead, Kim.
One part I did like was we get Rebus.
Who was excited about Rebus?
Yeah.
Do you guys know the connection to Rebus in the Network Saga?
Blue Dragon.
Do you guys remember? Lila's nodding. Do you remember? Okay. I would say if you remember who Rebus is in the Network Saga, then we're set in the framework. And also, Rebus is in the Network series in Alkarra Awakening and the High Priest Daughter, and maybe we're the Network. She's the angry red dragon. You guys remember the angry red dragon that really hates Bianca, That's Rebus.
That's so funny.
Lila's cackle. I'm excited that you're happy about Rebus. I think she's super fun. She's really fun through the books. Anybody else?
I love all those. Oh,
Go ahead, Lila. You're fine.
chaos. I'm trying to bring chaos, aren't I?
We expected it at this point, Lila. It's fine.
Oh, I love all the connections. I love all the connections of everything. Like, one of the things I'm really enjoying about all the books is the way you're just connecting everything, and I get to flit around Alkarra, because like you'll say something and it links to something that's been from that book or Bianca's time, or stuff we don't even know yet, or where's that leading, and it's all happening at once. So it's not just the story that's happening for them, but it's, for me, I just love all those, oh, look at that one, oh, and so there's all these like threads and treasures, and going, oh, I want to go down there, show me what's happening there.
For those of you that don't know, especially Chris and Spencer, Lila is my illustrator. So I don't know if you've seen Bianca the Brave yet, but Lila, we were talking about you today, and I was like, oh, I have an illustrator, please. That's Lila. Lila, I was just talking about how other people see Alkarra, because Alkarra is not mine. It belongs to all of us, which is why this fan fiction website is something we're excited about, because it's a way for everyone to create their own Alkarra together. That's what I'm so excited about it for. And I just said, Alkarra is not mine. You should meet Lila and Terry, because Terry's doing all this leather and he's got all these stories in his head, and Lila is actually putting Alkarra on paper so we can see it. So you two are infamous already. Yes, heart. I love it. And as a reminder for people that popped in and didn't hear, Chris and Spencer are on this call because we're talking about creating a fan fiction center for Alkarra, where you guys can write your own stories and have AI help you. So you could just put a story idea down, AI could write it, you could fix it, and then you could share it with each other and read each other's, and it would be just for fans and readers. I would not write within it, but I would come visit. So if any of you have questions or ideas or thoughts on that, put them in the chat, and then Chris and Spencer can kind of answer them or talk to you or kind of see what you're thinking about it, because we're not going to do it if you guys don't want it, and that's because you guys drive the company, right? So we just want to know what you think. Okay, was there anything you didn't like? You couldn't have loved all of the book.
No, I liked the final scene with Yurik and Sana.
Oh, yeah.
When she realized, when she finds out that they didn't really hate her.
Yeah, and they're just kind of old curmudgeons that didn't want to change. Yeah. That was kind of a sweet, tender moment, wasn't it? Kind of rounded out all of the drama, what was happening, I think. Go ahead, Andy.
I don't think I have a least favorite part. I'm trying to think of something I didn't like on this book, and I liked it all. I was like, of course, there are parts that you're like the snails, and you imagine them, and when you have such a vivid imagination as I do, I was like, please don't talk about the snails anymore. Cut it out. But still, it was fun because it was something new that they got to experience. And I can imagine like those shows in TV that they just go and live there out in the wild, and you have to figure out what you can eat, and you eat what you can, so it's survival mode for them right now. So yeah, that was it. I was kind of curious though, why didn't they learn to hunt the lizards that Charlie and Max sent them before? Because obviously that was kind of like an upgrade from the snails, I think.
Yeah, so those lizards I've always pictured as like Central Western Network, right? So this is a different part. We're looking more along the coastal, because they were working like the desert dragons. I've always pictured living more along the coast, so they have access to the fish to like feed off the fish there, where those lizards are like parched center desert, whatever. So they haven't ever like been in that region to share it. But that's a great question. Andy, you always pick that stuff up. It doesn't make, your mind is amazing. You always pick that stuff up. It's so cool. Let's talk about, when we're talking about things we do or did not like, let's talk about the Sana and Damien like thing. How many of you wanted that to result in a romance? Raise your hand. Carrie, Denise.
I was like in between. I'm gonna go on in between. Because
Well,
I'm like, either way was good.
Oh, okay. Okay. Go ahead, Denise. What are your
but I
thoughts?
think it still could develop, even though they both said no, because if they're friends, it could still develop.
Mhm.
Like my husband and I, we knew each other for 10 years before anything happened. But we
Okay.
liked each other. We enjoyed each other.
Terry, did you want to say something about that? Oh,
Terry, you're on mute.
you're on
Mute,
mute, Terry.
mute. Terry, you're on mute.
Let me
You're
see.
still on mute.
Here, I'll hit ask to unmute and maybe it'll prompt you.
There.
Here you go.
There we go.
Now you can hear me.
Yeah.
Up until I started thinking about how Sana was at the end of the war, in present day, so to speak, of what, with Bianca and how she was then versus, my mind went back and forth and I kept thinking, but she's single here and she acts like she never really wanted to ever be married. She was always attached to the dragon. So while I like the idea, I also had to think about the fact that maybe there was a part there that she could have gotten married, but it didn't look like it in the future, so to speak, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was like a little bit of a drama. And we talked about this on the Friday book club, and Carrie can attest to it, is I actually originally wrote it where Sana and Damien did come together as like a little romance. Like Sana was like Twitter pated for the first time in her life. And she's like, what's happening to me? Because she's Sana, right? She's this like wild girl in the forest that hangs out with dragons and hates witches. So she had no idea. She's like, I'm 50 years old. What's going on? So that kind of confused her a little bit, right? And she had to work through it and sort of like trust. But as I wrote it, I was like, I just don't know if this feels right. I really don't know if this feels right. So I just finished it and I sent it to the editing team and I just said, something comes up with Sana. I need your really honest opinion. And then I got everyone's really honest opinions. And I think it was majority of people were just like, no, this doesn't feel right. And it already didn't feel right to me. But I've been super curious how it would land with all the readers. My editing team, they're amazing and they're such a good reflection of the readership. Their advocacy for certain things in the stories is what you guys want. So I trust them implicitly. But I've just been curious what people are gonna say because a lot of you are suckers for a good romance. Lila, that's definitely you.
But there's romance and there's romance and then there's so I'm not.
You're gonna have to define that. Oh, Layla, you never used to make me giggle. Awesome. Okay, well, let's move on to question number 2. What are some of the themes you found in this book? And by themes, because some people weren't quite sure what we meant on Friday, by themes, we have a lot, like change is a really big theme across characters, right? Like Sana's welcoming a new friend for the first time in her life, really pretty, except for her mentor, what was it, Gilbert? Was it
Gilbert.
Thank you. Like, what's his name? Except for Gilbert, who's more her mentor than anything. And then Isadora is now giving up this part of her where she's fostering children and helping families, and she's focusing on a career. And that is hard change for her. And now Max is like forced to not just retire, but ask the big questions of who am I, if not the ambassador? Like he became his role instead of being Max. And so that forces a lot of change from all of us. So that's an example of a theme. Did you guys notice any others? Or want to comment on that one? Go ahead, Denise.
Just addition to that, just adapting to change. Things change and you don't always have control, or you don't know what's going to happen next, but you still have to adjust to it. Like Max, he just had to things kept coming up in front of him and he had to keep rethinking his reason not to retire. And then he finally decided, hey, I think maybe they're right.
Oh, maybe I should. Maybe I'm kind of a grumpy old cuss. Go ahead, Kim.
I think also you see the change in Ludius.
Oh, how so?
Well, you look at it and he's so focused on the brood, but yet he's concerned when Damien comes in with Sauna, you know, I mean, he's got his responsibilities to the brood, but he's a little bit, I don't know if jealous is the word, maybe, but
Sure.
he's a little concerned there that, so I think you see that change a little bit in him.
That's a great point. Yeah, we didn't bring that one up before, but you're right. He definitely was jealous. Yeah.
Mhm.
I can't always remember what makes it into the final cut because, like through edits and stuff. But there was a conversation where Ludius is like talking about jealousy. Like he's
Yeah.
trying to understand it. I think it made it, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
Because I think he brings up, the when he talks about emotions, he's trying to grapple a little bit with those witchy emotions.
Those witchy emotions are such a problem. That's awesome. Andy, did you want to say something or were you just joining?
Yeah, no. I think also Ludius is kind of torn because he likes Damien. I mean, he enjoys the flattery that he throws to him. It's like, oh yeah, keep talking, come on, you can do it. I'm listening. And but I think he genuinely likes him, and I think he has kind of like noticed that Sana might be lonely, because he's more dedicated to the brood, like they said, and so I think he kind of worries about her, and he sees Damien as a threat. That's why he's obviously jealous, because okay, so this guy's here, she's been all Ludius all the time, and now he comes along and he takes her, and he's doing stuff with her, and I have to do other things, so I cannot be with her, but I don't want her to be alone at the same time. So I think he's kind of conflicted, and that's kind of like why I went like it could have gone either way, because you get to love these characters, and you really don't want to see her spend a lot of alone time, because what's going to happen to Ludius eventually. So I'm like, okay, so how long is it going to be between that event and the events with Bianca that are going to give her a little bit of life again, when Merrick shows up? And how is she going to deal with that time by herself?
Camera's not working.
So yeah, that's why I was like, I wanted to go there, but I don't want it to go there because it's not really her, but I do want her to have something,
But you love her and you're worried about her, right?
Yeah.
Worried about Sana. I love that. Oh, I love that. That was actually, as it came out, that was something I was thinking about, right? Like what happens for Sana, like as this story progresses, right? And what Andy's talking about, and I think most people here probably read the network series, is we see Sana as an old lady and we know that Ludius is gone, right? And when I say old lady, I mean like 120, like she's a very so there is an understanding that at some point he has to go, and the question is when and where. There are some people, just as an FYI, there's some people that are very attached to Ludius and Sana, and they've been very stressed. And so I have told people, if you're stressed about events that are coming up that we know will happen, then you can stay after book club, and I will just let you know, I'll let you know what book to watch for things in. I won't tell you what happens, but I can just give you a heads up, like don't worry about it in this book, but look at this book or something, if that helps ease your anxiety. Like Carol needed to know. Like Carol was like, what about my Ludius? So I have been letting some people know just what books to watch for certain things in, so that you're not like at the edge of your seat anxious for all of these other books waiting for a certain event that I will not reveal to you entirely. So if you want that offer, just stay after the end of book club when other people are gone, so it doesn't spoil them, because we won't spoil future books for sure. That's a great point though, Andy. You made some really great points about like Sana's future and Ludius caring about her. And I just think I love seeing Ludius as broodsire and Sana as like support, right? It's fun to see Ludius like becoming a sire and exploring all these things. It's just a different time for him, from this like wild abandoned dragon in the forest to the only wild dragon saving Sana from Talus, and to who he's become. It's been so fun to see Ludius's like growth trajectory moving forward. I think it's been really fun. Anyone else have thoughts there? Or do you want to move on?
Carrie's got a hand up.
Go for it, Carrie.
I just had a question. Can you refresh my memory on like the lifespan of a dragon that lives a normal life without, having something happen to them?
Yeah, so average lifespan of a forest dragon is like 150. So old age would be like old ancient dragon would be like 180-ish. They're similar to sea dragons that way, but sea dragons actually live a little longer. So you see sea dragons at like 170 and really old is like 200. So sea dragons live a little longer. Wild dragons or wild desert dragons are much shorter time spans. You're looking at like 50. And then mountain dragons are closer to the sand dragon or the desert dragons. I don't know my own dragons. They're sand dragons now. Okay?
Thank you
Well,
so much.
you never know. We could have them pop up.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, Lila will let me know. Lila and I have this weird Alkarran teleconnect connection, and she'll message me and be like, "I'm picking up blah 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 blah," and I'll be like, "Oh my gosh, I just wrote out a story idea with those." It's really weird. Alkarra, man, she's a trippy place. Okay, so let's move to the next question. We have so many good ones. Oh, I love this one. If you could have part of the story told from the perspective of a different character, who would that be? And on Friday, I chose Violet, the maid at Wild Rose that helps take care of Wild Rose. I would
Excellent.
love to see Sana and Isadora and Max from her perspective. So that's like an example. But you can choose anything else. Does anyone have like a different perspective they'd want?
Well, I know, Katie, I mean, you say Violet, it would be interesting. I mean, you're talking about the characters, but which I mean, I know we're going to get Wild Rose as a standalone, but it would be different to hear Violet's take on Wild Rose.
Right? I actually, oh, you guys, Wild Rose is such a problem. Like, such a problem. So, for those of you who don't know, Wild Rose is a character. It's actually a manor. Like, it's this, like, magic run manor that, like, draws people that need saving to it. Like, the magic pulls them in, and Isadora and Max live there. Anyway, Wild Rose, oh, so it has its own book, and I actually had to plot out the Wild Rose book to finish book 7. So I was in the middle of the first draft of book 7, and it was like July or August, and I was like, oh no, like I can't write this unless I know exactly what happens in Wild Rose and how Wild Rose came to be, because Max has some moments about Wild Rose we're going to talk about. And so I had to plot out 6,000 words of this whole new novel, and never in my life have I was actually standing right here, like in this exact spot, because my kids were home from school and the babysitter was here for 2 hours. I literally stood here. I pounded out 6,000 word plot in 2 hours, and I finished it in one setting, and that has never happened in my entire life. So Wild Rose has opinions, and she has to, like, come to life really fast, so that we could start like rounding out Max and like and moving the story forward. So yes, seeing Wild Rose from Violet's perspective would be very interesting, because I'm getting a lot about Wild Rose for ideas that I'm really excited to execute in the story, and I can't because I have to finish Sister Witches. It's like a problem. You know the other problem? Great Library of Burke. So
Yeah, the same thing.
yeah, were you gonna say the same thing, Narelle? Oh
Yeah.
Wild Rose and The Great Library of Burke are the 2 novels that are coming after the Sister Witches. They're going to be historical collection titles. Oh, you guys are going to be so good. So good. I can't wait for you to read them. Anyway, just how to segue that. But let's segue that into Max. Okay, so Max has a big discovery. Like at the end of this book, he's like losing his mind and finally decides to just look for this lost grimoire and make himself useful. What were your thoughts on finding the Wild Rose grimoire so he could understand the manor better?
Can I just say something?
Please do.
I haven't read Sister Witches book 7 yet. I've started back at the start. I'm actually up to Sister Witches book 4 at the moment. So I'm working my way back through the whole series. So I haven't read 7 yet. This is all up.
Yeah, that is a lot. There's probably been a few spoilers, but hopefully not too many for all the other books.
Make forward to it more to find out more in detail what's going on. Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, there is some amazing stuff coming. Some amazing stuff coming. Denise, did you have your hand up briefly?
Just that the grimoire would be like you said, a whole new book, a whole new series just on Wild Rose. And like, what's with the grandfather clock? It keeps moving.
Lila, you know what's gonna happen? Lila's in love with this grandfather clock. She's gonna do the illustration of it for us one of these days and just punt it our way because it's like the gnomes. The grandfather clock will be answered in Wild Rose. To be honest, I don't know yet. Yeah. It just follows Max around like a puppy. I have an idea of what's going on behind the grandfather clock, but I haven't finalized it yet. But it'll come when I'm writing Wild Rose for sure. I love that clock though. I want one. I want a clock to follow me around and tell me when I'm late to stuff. Anyone else have like a perspective that they'd love to see this book from that isn't written in? Lila?
I was going to say the same as Kerry, but she typed it out.
Oh, is it?
And that was Wild Rose's perspective. I was going, oh, that would be so fun. So yeah, I'm with you, Kerry.
That would be really interesting. Andy, we'll get to you in a sec. I just wanted to tell Garrett hi. Hi, Garrett. Welcome to book club again.
Hey guys.
Glad you made it. We're just talking about what perspective. Garrett came to book club on Friday, so he's already heard some of this. But Garrett, we're getting some new good stuff. I'm excited for you to hear it. Andy, go ahead.
All right. I think I would love to hear Damien's impression of Sana and Isa, because obviously he up to a certain point knows that they're sisters, and just to hear him, if he thinks Sana is like this crazy person or just isolated person or hermit or whatever, I think it would be interesting because we've heard other people talk about Sana, but this is a new version of Sana because she's older, she's more mature, supposedly. And and to see her from the outside, to see how people see her. I think that I'd like that. I'm gonna go write it on the short story request.
There you go. See, this is the cool thing about what Spencer and Chris and I are thinking about doing. Andy, is all the short story ideas you always punt me. You could just put that into a group and someone else could write them too, or you could write them, right? It'd just be amazing that way. Garrett, just so you know, we have Spencer and Chris in this meeting with us, and they're two guys that I'm working with. We're potentially going to bring like a fan fiction place that all the Alkarrans could come to, and you guys could write stories in Alkarra. And part of what we spoke about today was having narration available, because I was like, we have to have it narrated. Because Garrett listens to audiobooks. I mean, so many people do, but I was like, we have to narrate for Garrett and Jade and Abby and Daniel and all of them. So I got your back, Garrett. Anyway, so Garrett, if you are interested.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, if you're interested in reading other Alkarrans, like stories in Alkarra, or like writing them yourself, what we would have, like I believe we're kind of talking about what it would look like for like the Alkarra fan fiction-dom, but there would be the option where you could just put a story idea out and the AI would write the story, and you could either change it or keep it and then share it with other people, and you can like comment on each other. So while you're waiting those very lonely 3 weeks in between book launches with me, you would have something else to read, because 3 weeks is a long time, right? You guys are totally spoiled.
We're not spoiled, we're treated. And we're met.
That's fair, Lila. That's fair. Okay, let's see. Do you have, okay, here's number 6. Do you have a favorite quote or passage from this book that you would like to share? This is Terry's mouth is full. We should call him. Just kidding, Terry. Well, if you guys think of one and you want to look it up, we'll take them at any time. Just raise your hand if you have one. That's kind of hard to think up on the spot, so you don't have to do it, but you can be thinking about it. This is a really interesting one. Number 9. Did your feelings about any of the characters change through the course of this book? Did your feelings for any of them change? Go ahead.
I don't know if this book necessarily because I've always thought Max was a jerk. You know, but I think he's evolved. So, you know,
Neanderthal, jeez.
yeah, I mean, the last few books have made him more human, I guess maybe is the word. He shows his emotions more. So I think 6 and 7 really show them a little more.
Especially 6, right? The events in book 6 were very intense. And especially for, I mean, for everyone, right? That was just a crazy book. There's a freaking Kraken, right? But Max, especially, like his were like heart-centered intense. Like he had to really face stuff he'd never faced before, and that really challenged him, which is really cool. That brings up just a quick comment I wanted to make that Garrett actually commented about on Friday. So I had told you guys book 7, so book 6, Narelle, you haven't read it, so I'm not going to say too much, but book 6 is like a race car. Like you're on a shooting star. Like that book starts and it doesn't stop. Like it just goes hard. Yeah, it goes really fast. It goes really hard. And book 8 is the same way. Only book 8 is 110,000 words. It's 11 and a half hours on audio. It's the longest book I think I've published, if you include the like short story at the end, which is like 15 or 20,000 words. It's ginormous. It's just this huge book, and they're both like so intense in different ways. So I was like, I'm a little worried about book 7. I don't want it to read as very slow. And it wasn't slow. I knew it wasn't slow, but I didn't know if it would feel like a lull before you climb back up the slopes of 8 and you're like throwing yourself off a mountain, right? It's just this huge book. But Garrett had said to him, it felt really fast paced and like it moved really well because like May had come into the story and we got to meet Angelina. So anyone who's read the Network series or Mildred's Resistance already knows these characters, but you're seeing them before you've ever seen them before. And so the setup, like Lila was talking about earlier, the setup that is occurring in these books to prep for the books that are already published and written kind of moves the story forward. Does anyone feel like that was their experience as well? Because that was a really interesting observation to me.
I'm trying really hard not to say anything because I'm so excited by 8 as well. And I know Kim and I were just like going, oh my goodness me.
So Kim and Carrie and Lila are proofers for me. So Carrie's one of my editors, and Kim and Lila proof my audiobooks and ebooks so that they're flawless for all of you, right? So they help me find those last minute mistakes. So they have finished Sister Witches book 8 in a Herculean effort to listen in like 11 and a half hours. I don't know how you did it, Kim. So fast. So they have already read Sister Witches book 8. So those Cheshire Cat grins are because they know what happened.
I will just say that I sent a message to Katie and said I was going to need a massage because I was so tense reading the last few chapters. I was like, I could have a massage to relax me.
True. Welcome to Alkarra. It's not slowing down, that's for sure. Book 9 is big too. Anyway, so, and I'm curious, are you guys liking the introduction of previously known characters like May, Angelina, and Donovan?
Yes.
That's a yes for me.
You want to extrapolate on that, Karen, or is it just a yes? I'm sad we can't see you. I love looking at you.
She might not be able to. She might cough or something.
Oh yeah, Karen, you're here too. Karen's on the proofing team without your face. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't even add you in there. Karen is also proofing. So the 3 of them are keeping very closed lips. I'm so proud of y'all.
I had to put those words in my mouth. Stop myself.
Katie, I liked it because also, I mean, it's brought up again in 8, and I think it just connects again to where Sister Witches is obviously going to end, and we go into, Bianca. So I think bringing May into that is.
Well, we can't have the Sister Witches series without explaining May and Angelina.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so the last like couple books of the Sister Witches series is resolving things, yes, but also setting up for the epicness of Mildred's Resistance, which is most of my fan favorite. That's a fan favorite, is Mildred's Resistance. Lila, go ahead.
And like Kim was saying, it's that in all of them, I'm noticing that it's like when stuff is happening, I'm going, oh, because I know what's coming later, but it doesn't mean. So it's kind of like, you know,
You
like
mean
with the
later,
political situation stuff,
mean
you
like
know what I mean? So,
the Mildred's Resistance later, right? You're talking like Mildred's in the network series when you say you know what's
yeah,
coming
yeah.
later. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So when you know, and the political situation and all that, and it's just like, it's like, and it's gonna, you know. So so yeah, it's kind of like I have to go, no, you need to accept this, Lila. You need to accept that this is happening because it has to. Okay, I'm cool.
You got to get Lila a brown bag to breathe in when she's
Yeah.
I put all into it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I was nearly crying you just talking about Ludius before. I'm going,
Yes, you do put it all in. I love that,
Well,
Lila.
I just think well, I don't know, we needed Kleenexes in 6, and I think, I mean, it's not just a few. You're gonna need boxes of Kleenexes.
So, I mean, yes, preach it, sister. That's the truth. There's just a lot happening in these last books. It's pretty crazy. Okay, let's see what else we have. Oh, we didn't ask this one on Friday.
Katie
Yeah.
Norrell have her
Oh,
hand up.
go ahead, Narelle.
Question. Where are we going to go once you've caught up from Sister Witches to Bianca? Where are we going from there?
Yes.
We're not stopping.
No. Narelle.
No, okay.
sorry, I'm not
Girl, I
laughing
got
at
you.
you.
Girl, I
No,
got you.
I'm laughing at
No,
you.
we're not stopping. I actually, so January is when Sister Witches book 10 launches, and then the plan is to launch Wild Rose in February if we're not launching. Yes, Lila, we're doing American this summer, right? Yeah. June. Okay. So Wild Rose will come out in February, and then in March we're doing a special edition Kickstarter of the network series in a leather bound paper or hardcover, because 2024 is the 10th anniversary of Miss Mabel's School for Girls coming out, which is really exciting. So we're gonna do a Kickstarter then, and then in April it will be the Great Library of Burke.
Sold.
Go ahead, Garrett.
I was just saying you have one sold.
I know. Garrett, I'm gonna have to send it to you because you've been hounding me so long to get on Kickstarter. And I'm like, yes, so then April will be the Great Library of Burke. That story is gonna require a little extra time. That's gonna be a giant book. And then I think we'll dive back into Bianca. I think we're gonna go see what happens with the sisterhood. Terry, go ahead.
When is the next swordman? You promised the
Oh,
swordman.
you were going to ask that one.
Or do I have to write it myself?
I was just gonna say, Terry, I don't know, Terry, you might have to write the next Swordmaker book. So here's what I'm gonna do though, Terry, because remember you guys choose the next book, right? And Swordmaker was last on the list. Like another Swordmaker was last on the list. It definitely didn't win. Most people are asking for Bianca, so we'll probably go to Bianca next. I also have to get ahead of Hollywood, right? So we have to get Bianca finalized before any contracts go down with my producers. So we'll probably head over to Bianca, and then that'll put us through September. She'll get 4 more, but I think Bianca has 20 books total. That's what I'm like. Her big arc is 20 total. So I think I have 12 more Bianca books for you. That's a lot of Bianca books. That's a lot of books. So after that, I still have so many ideas. We still have the Weavers of Magic, and that's the Tuffer, the Weaver of Magic, who created the Volare, Bianca's Flying Carpet. That there's a story there. Oh, there's is Ramona in the Western Network with Faylene Borg. That one is Witch Without Magic. We still have the Witch Without Magic in the historical collection. And then we have Esmelda in the Mortal Wars trilogy. So now we have to go all the way back in time to Esmelda. Lila, get back. So then we're going to be doing the Mortal Wars trilogy. So I have so many books. So many books for you, Narelle. And I actually just spoke with my business consultant today to kind of start hammering out our goals for 2024. And I said, I want to keep doing a book a month. Like, It's my happy place. I love it so much. My readers love it. And whatever my readers love, we're going to do more of. So we're planning on a book month through 2024.
And your narrating is getting better and better and better all the time. I mean, not that it wasn't great, because it was, but I do notice, like it's like, yeah, I'm having fun with it.
I hope so.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm constantly trying to improve it, right? It's active. Like I'm actively always trying to improve the narration. It is good. It is good narration, but I try to.
That last one, you had so many voices, like.
Yeah, and book 8, there is a lot of new accents, and it was pretty daunting. I tried Australian and I'm like, nope. Nope. Like I can't do the O's. I can't. Nope. My husband's like, what are you doing in the closet? And I'm like, hey, mate. Like, it was not pretty. I was like, I just need to go channel my inner Lila. And anyway.
You should tell Chris and Spencer what you're doing in the closet.
Oh yeah, they know I narrate my own books. Yeah, I literally narrate in my closet. Like my clothes are
many times, haven't we, Katie? Yeah. We've shared it with you many times.
Yeah, I will live narrate some of my short stories. Oh, speaking of Andre and short stories, Terry, I promise I haven't given up on Vivite Forged. I will. I'm hoping to launch the Return reader request short story that we finished like in July, and I still haven't narrated. I will be probably narrating that here soon. I don't know if I'm going to narrate it live or not. Do you guys like narrating it live? Do you guys like joining that, or?
Yeah.
Raise your hand. Yeah. You want me to narrate it live? Okay. Right.
Yes.
That was not super convincing.
I'm trying to behave myself. I'm supposed to be not
raise our hands before we say anything.
I'm trying to behave myself. It's so hard.
Well, we'll probably end up live narrating it because a lot of people really enjoy that. And Jordan is going back to nights soon, so it's a lot easier for me to live narrate when he's working night shifts, and that doesn't say anything about him. So that'll be happening here soon. So I haven't forgotten about Vivite Forged, and I haven't forgotten about the Return either. They just got pushed back because literally Sister Witches Book 8 was a monster, and I was having to write it during DragonCon and all of the events that happened after DragonCon. If you guys remember, my best friend lost her 2.5-year-old. My dog died like the next day, and then Debbie died on Wednesday. So we lost one of our Alkarrans. It was like the week from hell. And that was when Sister Witches Book 8 was getting edited, of course. That book was born in fire, for sure. And it shows. So I haven't forgotten about all those, just for those of you that are wondering if I'd forgotten about it. So we are, somehow it's been an hour. I don't know how this time flies. Alkarrans, like, go ahead, Karen.
My quote.
Oh, what is it?
Oh, good.
You can't fix everything. A color has to run her course sometimes. We all need that lesson that there's things in life that we can't fix. No matter how much we want to try, there's nothing we can do about it. And we just have to accept that we can only fix what we can fix and learn to let the rest go. And Sana didn't want to do that at first.
I should really take my own advice. Any final thoughts from the Alkarrans out there? Awesome. This is such a great crowd tonight. If you guys have any questions, let's revisit really quick before we close down this fan fiction idea. I'm going to be sending out an email, and depending on what like reception sounds like, and I'm going to keep asking some people, answering questions just like one-on-one, see what my rock stars are all thinking, what all of you think. Then what we're going to do is open up a beta program where you apply and we take a small number of people, and then you get to come try it out and see if you like it, if you don't like it, what it's like, if you have fun sharing with each other, what we can do to make it fun for you, to make it viable, all that kind of stuff. Because really this is built for the purpose of bringing Alkarra to you in new and better ways, and for you to actively be part of Alkarra so you can create your own magic, right? Like how cool is that? You could just like go live in Chatham Castle in your head. Like it's just so much fun. Bianca's cottage is probably where I would live. Who are we kidding, right? Or with Regina in the north. But anyway, So if any of you have thoughts about that, please feel free to email me. Chris and Spencer and I will be chatting about this quite a bit as we figure out if Alkarrans want this or not and what it would look like if you do. So if you are interested in being part of the beta program, oh, thanks, Karen. If you guys are interested, you can always email me or just let me know, and we will follow up with you as we kind of start rolling it out. I just think I secretly just want to hear what stories you guys have from Alkarra. Terry's been emailing me his ideas, and I love getting those emails. So I just want to see you guys have to say. And Lila is always putting like Alkarra to site. It's amazing. Oh yes, also people who ordered Kickstarter. We have the proof was supposed to ship today to Kaylee, but it's going to Canada. So we expedited it. So it's supposed to get there pretty fast. So we're hoping within a couple days it's there. And I'm finalizing the spreadsheet so that as soon as Kaylee gives me the go ahead, I will upload and put all of your orders into production. It's pretty much already organized and ready to go. But for those of you that weren't able to do the Kickstarter or didn't, we will be launching Bianca the Brave in English and Spanish, probably also in French, depending on what magic Jenny can work on typesetting, on November 24th, which is Black Friday in the US. So we're going to just do a big launch that Thursday, Friday. No, it's Friday. It's Friday because Thanksgiving is on Thursday. We're going to do like that big launch then, and we'll have some of the t-shirts and some merchandise available from Bianca the Brave, including prints. The Derek and Bianca print that Lila did for us. Have you guys seen that print? It's amazing.
Beautiful.
Your heart. We'll have some more of those prints available, and the books. It is Lila, like, I have no words. Every single person that's seen it, their jaw has dropped, and rightly so, because Lila's ridiculously amazing, and she has this insight into Alkarra I don't even have. So it's awesome. And then we are on track for Sister Witches Book 8 to launch the first Friday of November. So it's looking like November 3rd, I believe. What do you want? You want signed books, Garrett? Mail them to me, man. So raise your hand so I can see it. Are you guys interested in signed books for Black Friday? Would you guys want that option?
Are we getting them for the ones that in the Kickstarter too, or?
If you support it at the $500 level, yes, we're doing signed paperback or signed hardcovers for the top tier supporters, but not for everyone else because it would have to ship to me and then to Kaylee and then back to me and then to you. So, and Kaylee's in Canada, so it's a nightmare. Canada, Kaylee and I were trying to put an order for 100 paperbacks and 100 hardcovers into Kaylee, and it was $575 just for shipping.
Oh, wow.
$175 just for shipping. Can you imagine? No. That was through all these other ones, but we found one that was like $100. So it's just really expensive. So we didn't offer signed ones, but maybe for Merrick the Master we can figure out or something.
Personal question, Katie, are you going to be at the cabin during Thanksgiving?
Maybe. I don't know.
We're still recording.
No, that's okay. Everyone knows that Kim and I are friends. I'll let you know, Kim. I'll let you know. We're going to Idaho, but I don't know if we're going to the cabin. All right, so we're on track for back to our regular launches. Our next Coffee with Katie call, since this was final book club for October, is the first Friday of November. So it's November 3rd at 12 o'clock Mountain Time. That's 12 o'clock in the US. So I'm not sure where that is in Australia right now because I don't even know when we're doing daylight savings. So
that will be also launch of 8, right?
Yes, so the same day that we're launching. Yeah, so Coffee with Katie, the first Coffee with Katie of every month will like always land. Bye, Carrie. Will always land on launch day, and so that's not next week. It's the week after, I believe. So there won't be any Coffee with Katie next week. No. There will
no,
be.
it will be. Yes,
it will be.
It is next week. Yes.
What are you laughing at, Terry?
Carrie, you're still there. Carrie, you're still there. I know it doesn't.
Yeah, she wasn't saying goodbye to unplug her to like disconnect, and you just like threw her off the boat.
He said goodbye and they covered herself up. That's what I was laughing about.
Thanks, Mama Denise. Thanks for coming, Kyla. It was great to have you. All right. If no one needs anything, it was lovely to see all of you. Thanks for coming. And this rounds out book club. I'm going to stop recording, but I'm not going to leave yet.